You may look at me and say, wow, he looks happy, he's tall, he's muscular, but that isn't really what makes up my worth. I may look athletic, and I may have achieved lots in sports over my years. I played football, cricket, rugby, basketball, water polo. I did so much, swimming as well. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. I did so many sports that it was hard to actually hone in on one and become great at one thing. And in life, you tend to only be remembered for the one thing that you master. It's like Cristiano Ronaldo. Once he became the best at football, he then expanded into business, and that's the majority of his wealth. But he's known for football only. Now, it's quite nice to diversify your self-belief and become a jack of all trades elsewhere, but only once you've mastered something. And I have not mastered my one thing yet. Despite my athletic looks, I don't have much to show for my athletic achievements. Back in school, I was in the F team sometimes, even the G team. When I was in year 7 and 8, and all 140 boys played football, all the kids who were at the school previously got automatically placed into the higher teams. And that locked me from getting into the higher teams forever, actually. When it got to the final 2 years of my academic career, and I was in the senior teams, there were 6 senior teams, and I was in the 6th. I came to training twice a week when most kids in the 3rd team and 4th team weren't even coming. And I realised it was all down to initial talent. The first impression that the kids gave to the coach, all the way back then when I was in year 7, and they had known them for longer. They showcased their sports and skills in the moment, and that's how they got put in the higher teams. I was not there. I've never been in a first team for sports except for water polo, in which there was only one team. And even then, I lagged behind the others because I hit puberty later than the other water polo players. Like, they were quite big and muscular. They were already like 6 foot tall at 13. And I was still awaiting my growth spurt till I was 14 and a half, I'd say. And so I may look like a winner, a master of my sport, but I really am not. But here's the thing. There's a different perspective you can take to look at your achievements. You see, what matters is not where you start, but where you end. I may have started in the F team and the G team in football, but I play every week. Incrementally, my skill gets better and better and better and better and better. I may have been at level 50 of football when I finished year 13, and I was in the 6th team, and the people above me may have been level 55. But now, I've played a bit more and more and more. And now I'm probably more like level 60. But maybe only half of those players who are above me then would be above level 60 now, and better than me still. The key is the kid who gets better and doesn't quit, who doesn't rush to get to the best position, is the one who will be the better player in the end. Now it is prime season. Now I'm 20. The rest of my teammates will be the same age. But in their prime years of sport, what have they got to show for it? Now this should serve to break your idea that the first team players in your football team or your rugby team are still there now. Or maybe not rugby, but football and basketball, say, for Americans. You may not be in senior teams now, you may not be ranked in popularity by how good you are at the sport, but you've practiced now and you're better than them now. It's just that no one can see that you're better because you're no longer in the high school environment. Now, if you ever feel worthless like that because there are people better than you back then, I want you to think of this. Realize how much better off you are than the people who were ahead of you were back then. So a lot of singers actually have way worse lives than you. You just don't see it because they're worth £50 million and they've got mansions and girls and everything. They have everything you've ever wanted. They make you feel worthless, but here's the thing, they're not happy. I watched a documentary on Robbie Williams, and it showed that when he was young and singing with Take That and his solo career, he ended up dropping off in his life because some of it was the fans who were giving him grief because he didn't write his own songs until later on in his career, but mostly because he was so famous and loved by everyone. He had to take drugs to smoke the pain away and get out of it all. And he got so badly addicted, it sucked the life out of him. Now, he's made a huge recovery now and he's a family man, but he's well reformed and he's alright. But he's not as famous as he was. So the thing you have to stop doing here is, stop chasing fame. You shouldn't think that someone whose highlights of their life are on display on their Instagram and they seem to be having the best time ever. But like I said before, Instagram is only the highlight reel of people's lives. A lot worse goes down there in between the times they're posting. Here's another solution to your problem. Maybe you're just anxious. Maybe the reality is that you're not much better off than the other people, but in the system they've been put on a fake pedestal which makes them seem higher up than others. This is what the popular kids in high school did. This is what the bullies did to make themselves feel entitled. Deep down, do you think they're even that happy with themselves? Now here's the small little victory you have. You're probably better off and happier than them. You shouldn't get so caught up in your mistakes and everything, or perceived failures, because you are actually the more successful person. If they're at their peak now and you're still developing, you've still got to achieve your peak, and that could be way better than theirs could ever be. Now think about that for a second. That's the advantage of being a slow developer. And a way you can take action on feeling anxious is via taking a deep breath. Do it with me now. Close your eyes. How much pain did you relieve there? 50%? 70%? Maybe only 10%. But it doesn't matter because you just practiced mindfulness for 10 seconds. Now that's progress. You'll feel a lot happier than anyone else with any level of money or fame could ever achieve in that space. Congratulations! You've just made yourself feel less anxious and less worthless. You no longer perceive yourself as lower than someone because you just made yourself more mindful and you realised that the pedestal you put them on isn't actually there and none of it actually matters. The only thing that matters is your personal state of growth. Now, competition is great, but how you feel inside your head is all your self-belief and image to combine to produce your self-worth. Just train your self-worth from here to be more mindful, grateful, and happy. I hope that helps you. See you next time, and take care.